supervise and ensure it was done right. I advised her to pursue the strategy because it was sound. In retrospect, I know what I did wrong. I should have told Jess the plan. My house is mine, so I don't have to explain what I do with it. However, Jess has lived here for 6 years and her kids play in that yard often. Even though it's not her legal place, it's been part of her daily routine for so long that I should have warned her. Amy and I had strange schedules, so we scarcely saw Jess that week. She's generally around while I'm at work, and when I get home, the boys are asleep and Jess is relaxing. I didn't think calling attention to the garden was necessary because I thought she wouldn't care. A stupid assumption, looking back. On the scheduled contractor day, Amy took the day off to handle things. I was at work as normal, unaware of what was about to happen. Construction crews arrived early and tore up the front yard. Amy accompanied them to ensure proper execution. Amy said it was fine at first. She said good morning to Jess, who hardly looked at her, and went about her business. Jess then observed what was happening. She supposedly lost it when she witnessed workmen breaking up her kids' daily playgrass. Amy said the ranting started suddenly. Jess stormed out in her pajamas, wanting to know what was going on. She said Amy ruined the yard and took her kids' only play space. Amy tried to tell Jess that she and I had discussed it, but she refused. Amy reported Jess shouting. She screamed at the contractors to halt and told them not to touch anything. Amy said, "Actually, you don't get to make that call. This is our home." Jess replied, "I've lived here for 6 years. You can't rip apart my home either." Things got out of hand then. Our neighbor Karen, in her 40s, heard the ranting and intervened. Karen and Jess are friendly, her kids play with my nephews and they bond over being single moms. Later, Amy told me Karen came over and immediately took Jess's side, questioning what the workers were doing and why Jess didn't know. Amy tried to stay cool, but Karen ignored her. She called the cops. Police, yes. Thinking about that, I still can't believe it. Karen reported unlicensed laborers messing up the yard to 911. She claimed Amy couldn't change anything because the owner wasn't home. The police arrived quickly. I presume in a quiet neighborhood like ours, they had nothing else to do, and things grew even crazier. Amy tried to explain that she had permission because this is her house and we're married, but the officers told her to go for the night because I wasn't present to confirm. They let her take an overnight bag and then escorted her out of our residence. I was at work and unavailable when I learned about this. Our IT facilities warehouse zone prevents me from carrying my phone during shifts. Not until I checked my phone on break and saw roughly a dozen missed calls from Amy did I realize what had transpired. I felt very stupid. I left work early, got in my car, and drove home for an hour trying to understand what happened. That night, I felt like my brain was short-circuiting at home. Jess was sitting on the couch, calmly scrolling through her phone, as I entered the house. Meanwhile, Amy was absent. My sister acted like she was the victim when my wife was evicted. "Where's Amy?" I asked, trying to speak clearly. Jess innocently looked up. "She left," she remarked as if it were plain. "Police made her do it." Her tone immediately irritated me. Not yet yelling, but near. Why did Jess call the cops on her? What the hell is happening? She then defensively began her story. She claimed she had no option. Amy and the workmen were destroying her kids' play environment without her knowledge, so she acted. She talked about living here for 6 years and how Amy changed everything without appreciating her. "You don't get it," Jess remarked. "This has been my home for years. You can't rip up the yard without my permission." What I heard was unbelievable. After years of supporting my sister, who has lived here rent-free, was acting like she owned my house. "Your home?" I said. "Jessica, this isn't your home. You live here because I let you. I helped you for years, and you call the cops and kick out my wife." Then she played the victim. She cried as she said her kids loved the yard and had nowhere else to play. I loved my nephews, but her response was terrible. "You screamed at Amy," I replied, raising my voice. "You shamed her in front of workers, got the neighbor involved, and called the police. Someone does that?" Jess got up and yelled back, attempting to match my energy. "You and Amy didn't even tell me. I had to find out when strangers were digging up the yard. You don't just get to change everything without talking to me first. I've lived here for 6 years. I have a say in this." I stopped. Her statement was so ridiculous that I paused mid-sentence. "You have a say, Jess? You don't pay rent, you don't own this house, you've been living here because I've been helping you out." She said it, the line that boiled my blood. "I have tenant rights. You can't just do whatever you want anymore." I froze. "What did you just say?" Jess crossed her arms and repeated it, quieter but firmer. "I have tenant rights. I've lived here for 6 years. You can't just kick me out or change things without notice. Legally, I have rights too. I had to leave. I couldn't look at her. Sitting on the porch, I tried to relax. I was angry, not afraid, so my hands shook. Amy called when I was outside. I could tell she was upset while staying with her sister. I can't believe your sister did that to me, she gasped. I'm your wife, and the police made me leave our house. Hearing her pain enraged me. I'll handle it, I assured her. This is the last straw, Amy. Jess has to go. I went inside later. Still sitting, Jess pretended nothing had happened. I was honest this time. You must leave, I said. She appeared surprised at me. What? Kicking me out over a garden? No, I answered. I'm kicking you out because of how you treated Amy. I'm kicking you out because you think you have more of a right to this house than my wife does. This is my home, Jess, and you crossed a line. She cried again, saying I was cruel, that she had nowhere to go, and that I chose Amy before my sister. And maybe I was. But I didn't care then. I wouldn't let her disrespect my wife and behave like she owned the place. I set a deadline. You have 60 days to find somewhere else. I'm serious. I'll help you pack. I'll help you find a place, but you're moving out. Jess slammed her door as she stormed to her room. I stood there exhausted for a moment. I saw a lawyer the next day about tenant rights. I didn't want to be surprised if Jess fought me. The lawyer claimed Jess may have residence rights because she's lived there so long, but since there's no lease and she's never paid rent, she might be evicted easily. Just give her written notice. Yes, I did that. I printed an official notification and gave it to Jess that night. You're really doing this? She asked, crying. Yes, I answered. It's time, Jess. Felt awful. Yes, I did. I adore my sister. It wasn't simply the yard anymore. Respect, boundaries, and putting my wife first were key. Amy received my full story via text that night. When she returned home the next morning, I saw how relieved she was to be home, and I knew I had done the right thing. I've initiated official eviction, and I'm not backing down. Maybe this makes me a lousy brother, but I'm done. Any developments will be posted. Update 1, my last post on handing my sister eviction papers was a week ago. Things have risen unexpectedly, but I'm addressing it systematically and obtaining pleasant outcomes. First, Jess's reply surprised me. Instead of accepting reality, she fought back legally. She engaged a cheap consultation lawyer who assured her she had squatters' rights. Her lawyer wrote me a threatening letter alleging she had equal property rights after 6 years of residence. They didn't realize I'd already consulted an eviction-specialized real estate attorney. Jess has fundamental tenant protections, but her situation is weak, my lawyer said. She has never paid rent, and we have no written agreements governing her stay. All paperwork lists me as the sole owner and my wife, Amy, as a legal resident. Better yet, my lawyer said her Garden Acts helped us. It shows antagonistic behavior toward legitimate property owners. What about Karen, the neighbor who phoned the police? It seems she's generating more difficulty. She wrote on our neighborhood Facebook page that I'm evicting a single mother and her children. She tried to arrange a protest outside our house. My lawyer wrote her a cease and desist letter saying that her activities could be harassment and interference with court procedures, which backfired catastrophically. The most intriguing development was Karen's unexpected police visit. Falsifying police reports of unlicensed buildings might have consequences. She may be charged with making a fraudulent police complaint. Her attitude changed so rapidly afterward. She hasn't spoken in days. Since this began, neighborhood dynamics have changed substantially. Some neighbors initially supported Jess, likely because she had portrayed herself as a suffering single mother for years. After Karen's failed protest and Jess's financial predicament became public, people's views changed. I was surprised to learn that Jess has worked part-time for 2 years while stating she couldn't afford to move out. My lawyer subpoenaed her bank documents for eviction, and she's been saving a lot, but not for moving out. She's been on exotic holidays with friends while telling me she's poor. When Jess played her last card yesterday, things got interesting. Her lawyer made a settlement offer to depart peacefully provided I gave her $10,000 in relocation help. They said she deserved recompense for her long-term investment in the property because she cleaned and maintained the dwelling. Perfect response from my lawyer. He sent a precise estimate of market rate rent for 6 years, utilities she never paid, property tax she never paid, maintenance expenditures I paid alone, and current legal bills. The total exceeded $100,000. In exchange for her prompt departure, he graciously waived these charges. Jess's lawyer suddenly lost interest in financial claims. Through this process, the family's reaction has changed. Many, including our mom, were initially